everybody. My name's Chloe, and welcome to Chat GPA. This is a podcast dedicated to talking about realistic mental health care for college students. Whether you're an undergraduate or a graduate student, we're all busy, especially this time of year. Guys, it's final season. We're all starting to get exhausted with studying and final projects and classes wrapping up and prepping for moving out. Things are just pretty crazy right about now. And things are actually pretty crazy for me right now. That is why this episode is coming out a day late. Things got a little hectic and I wasn't able to record yesterday. Sorry about that. But I feel like y'all understand because this is the college life and sometimes life happens. And life really has been happening, all right. It's the end of the year and I'm a senior here at Texas A&M. But I guess I won't be for much longer. Graduation is in about 2 weeks. And things are crazy trying to prep for that. Between finishing out my classes and my final projects, finishing out essays, research projects, pretty much getting everything wrapped up for the year. It's really exciting and just kind of crazy. Like, classes-wise, one of my classes actually already ended early. It was an online writing intensive essay class. I turned in my final essay about a week ago, I think now. And now I'm finishing up my final project for one of my classes. And I think I've turned in my last assignment for my second class today. And it's kind of weird that I only have 3 classes this semester, but that's a really long story about somehow running out of credits for my degree plan. Anyway, but this semester I think I got very lucky because for all 3 of my classes, none of them actually have final exams, which I am definitely taking as a blessing because all of my other years, I have had so many final exams, comprehensive final exams, lab exams, final projects, more public speaking, things like that. Oh, and speaking about public speaking, this podcast is probably going to be a bit of a rambly one because I am very tired today. It's just a crazy time of year. And I'm just here to just talk with y'all, to yap a little. But anyway, speaking about public speaking, it was wonderful. I had the opportunity to table with University Health Services at the MSC and to talk about the podcast with you guys in person. And if I met you there and if I got to see you and talk to you there, it was wonderful. And if not, it would be so much fun to do more tabling opportunities or just talking to you guys in person. It was really fun. But anyway, I did that because this podcast is actually a part of my university honors capstone, where I officially collaborated with Texas A&M's University Health Services. And after I graduate, I won't be officially partnered with them anymore. But they're wonderful people. That's why I chose to partner with them and mention their services and things because it's I personally go and to the 4th floor of the student services building to all the Aggies out there listening. It's a building very close to the MSC. But on the 4th floor, that's where their kind of mental health center hub is, where you can stop by or make appointments online for free mental health care services, the meetings, just talking to someone. And I honestly can't emphasize free enough because that's really important for college students. But anyway, I'm going off on a ramble. So I had the wonderful opportunity to meet you guys last week at a tabling event with University Health Services. And it was so fun. And I really enjoyed it. Anyway, I think I've gone off on a ramble. It's probably going to be that kind of podcast, but that's all right. Sometimes there's days like that, and sometimes there's days like today where I think I have half a brain cell that is somewhat awake, but here we are. Anyway, so kind of end of the year, graduation, moving has kind of just been on my mind, and prepping for all that, and having kind of that nostalgia of There is a chapter of my life that's ending. And I've kind of felt that way at the end of academic years ever since I was a freshman. Because whenever I was a freshman and the academic year was over, it was like, whoa, I'm a sophomore now. And then oh wow, I'm a junior now. And then wow, I'm a senior. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, wow, I'm going to be graduating. And then I think the world will officially think I'm a quote-unquote adult, which I don't think I'll ever feel like an adult, but the world will think of me that way, as a graduate. And it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild preparing for that and knowing that my undergraduate experience will be over soon. And it's like there's a whole lot of feelings. And change is happening. Changing from being an undergraduate student to being in gap years. My whole goal about me is that after I graduate from Texas A&M in a few weeks, I want to do a few gap years and then move on to a PhD program because I'm a little bit of a nerd and I absolutely love science and I want to keep researching and things like that. But anyway, so I do plan on continuing this podcast for basically as long as I have a voice because I just really enjoy talking with you guys. And so I'll keep releasing episodes throughout my gap year and throughout whatever the future holds for me and telling you guys about it and talking about how I've learned how to take care of my mental health through that. I still plan on talking a lot about mental health care, in college, even though I won't physically be at a university anymore, because there's just so much to talk about. I mean, I've touched on a few things, but there's so much more, because college life is complicated, and there's a lot of areas, like burnout, exams, hanging out with friends, just all sorts of things to talk about with mental health care and taking care of our mental health so we can have our good GPAs. This is kind of a big time of change for all of us between switching from our schedules that we've gotten used to studying for final exams and being off schedule, and then moving home for the summer, which is a big change. Or if you're not moving home for the summer, doing summer classes. Which I've done for my summers here at Texas A&M. It would have been so wonderful for me to go home, but just the way life happened, I needed to take my summer courses. Anyway, but it's a big time of change, and then there's a lot of prep that needs to happen for that sort of thing. Like, right now, I'm having boxes delivered to pack up my things in my apartment. And me and my sweet mom, we've made plans of how to actually get my stuff from College Station to home hours away. And it's just, goodness, a lot of planning happening. So anyway, that was a whole lot of me just telling you guys about my life and what's kind of going on right now. And speaking of that, I did want to tell you guys that my next few episodes, because everything is so hectic, might be a bit shorter than usual. And I still want to get them out on time and things. That's the goal. But things are definitely crazy right about now. And with moving and graduation and everything, so much stuff. But it really means a lot to me to talk to you guys. So I still want to put something out, even if it's not quite my big, long, highly prepared 50-minute talk or something like that. Not that any of my episodes are super professional. I just have a great time talking with you guys, and then I look at the time and it's like, oh wow, I talked for 50 minutes. But anyway, and I just kept saying it, but this time of year is really hectic. And for us students, this is one of the times where it's both the most important time to take care of our mental health and the hardest. Because between studying for finals, doing final projects, writing essays, finishing out the semester, making sure our grades are where we want them to be, it feels like there's not nearly enough time in the day, even just for doing our classes. And then on top of that, it can feel overwhelming to try to dedicate time to taking care of our mental health on top of that whenever we already feel so short on time. But that's something I've definitely learned the hard way, where whenever I was a freshman and I was still getting the hang of this, and especially during my first final season, I completely dived into just studying and working and essays and exams, and my mental health got really bad because I dedicated everything I was doing to my classes. And I thought doing that would give me the best grades I could get. But instead, I burnt myself out and I did worse than I should have with things because I just burnt myself out. And so I kind of, over time, learned the importance of taking care of myself, even during times where it feels like I barely have enough time to breathe and then sleep and then, goodness, everything just going crazy. But because finals is such a demanding time, it means we have to dedicate time for ourselves to make sure we have that energy to give to our classes, to give to our essays, to give to our projects. Because if we burn ourselves out like I did and have absolutely done, then you or I get worse grades, a worse outcome with anything I'm working on. I learn less if I take all that time and dedicate it just for school than if I took a chunk of that time to get enough sleep or make sure I eat and eat healthy, or even just take some time to watch, I don't know, an episode of TV before bed or something just to decompress. Because especially during a high-stress time like this, taking time to decompress is absolutely essential for me. I mean, I'm doing it today. I mentioned earlier that today is a day where I am very tired. I don't have too much to give to classes, and I don't have a whole lot of brain today. And so because of that, I've learned throughout college that whenever I get to a point like this, there's no point in me trying to run through this brick wall I've hit. I'm not currently in any good shape to do some serious research analysis or write a really good professional paper. It's just not something I can do right now because I'm too tired and I'm in energy debt and I need to take care of myself. So today, after I record and edit and post and get a thing done that I have to get done today, because that's life. Sometimes we just can't skip things we have to get done. But after that, I'm taking the day off early where I can go to my apartment and eat and decompress a little bit, which lately I haven't had a ton of time to do. Decompress a little bit and get some good sleep so that tomorrow I'm actually worth and able to function the way I want to. It's like a time trade-off. Like, I might be ending my day early today to take care of myself, but doing that means I will actually have a productive and good and happy day tomorrow. If I didn't, and if I just kept trying to work and keep going and push through the exhaustion, which I get sometimes has to be done as a college student, it's not the greatest for us, but I get that sometimes, like, if there's a massive paper that's due tonight, you just have to do it and then rest later. But anyway, I got off on a tangent. But, I did kind of forget where I was, so I might have to backtrack a little bit. But taking the rest of today off and making sure I get enough sleep tonight to make up for my low sleep I have today, that makes tomorrow actually productive, because if I tried to push past my exhaustion, my tired, my need to decompress and take care of myself, if I tried to push past that and keep working, well, one, I would barely get anything done today, and what I would get done would not be very good quality, which is not very good for a GPA or my mental health. And then second, tomorrow I would have barely anything to give and kind of have the same day I'm having today. All the work I try to do tomorrow would be not very good because I don't feel very good. And in order to have like a good, actually productive day where I get things done, I have to stop early and take care of myself. And that kind of like thought process at first seems like really counterintuitive. Like how am I gaining productivity if I'm quitting early? But that's just kind of how taking care of myself works, to where I need to replenish my energy so I actually have energy to give. It's just something I have absolutely learned the hard way throughout college. And so that's kind of an example in real life, in real time, that's going on today. And it's like I can think through it all logically and be like, yes, I know that this is the thing I need to do to take care of myself, and I know that doing this will make my tomorrow much better. But sometimes it's hard, and I totally understand that. Because sometimes my heart doesn't keep up with my brain. Like, I can think through something in the most logical way and it makes perfect sense. But then my heart will still say, I'm wasting time. I'm being a failure because I'm not pushing through and still getting work done. It feels like I'm wasting time and doing something irresponsible, even though logically I know that quitting early is what's best for me, and I have to in order to be productive. If I don't, I just won't be today or tomorrow. And so it's just sometimes our hearts don't really like to get with the program. and sometimes the way I kind of deal with that is sometimes it's very hard to change our heart's mind, I guess, because my heart doesn't like to listen to logic all the time. But what I need to do is listen to that logic, knowing that I need to quit early today and knowing that's best for me, and doing it anyway. And then really like firsthand experiencing how much better I feel after that, and firsthand experiencing how much more productive I am. And so that's kind of what I'm doing right now today. And I think that's where I'll end this podcast. Today was a very rambly one, and I hope I made sense. I just came into the podcasting booth, sat down, was like, well, I don't exactly have a plan of what I would like to talk about today. I just want to talk to you guys, so that's what I did. And as usual, just to give you guys my little disclaimer, is that I'm not a professional by any means. I'm just a senior here at Texas A&M for a little while longer. I'm just a student. And a lot of the time it is so helpful to talk with a professional, which is a big scary word that seems really intimidating, but they really are nice people and really helpful. But it can really help a lot with any problem, no matter how small or how big. The people at University Health Services, if you're a Texas A&M University student, they're really, truly nice people. And let me tell you, the mental health services appointments are free. That is amazing and really important, because for so many of us out there, and I know me included, that finances can be a struggle. And so having these resources available for free is wonderful, especially during a time like finals, whenever we're extra stressed and our schedules are all out of whack, and sometimes it's even more intimidating to try and figure out how in the world do I get less anxious or less stressed while also trying to balance finals. And that's something that having a mental health care appointment can really help with, because I try to give you guys advice and just talk about mental health care as a college student, coming from a student who's been there and done that for 4 years. But sometimes there's knowledge that just a professional knows. And it's a wonderfully unique experience to be able to talk to someone face to face and get personalized feedback and advice about whatever your specific situation is. So it's like I know I'm partnered with them for my university honors capstone that is ending soon, but I'll keep putting out episodes. But I say this not because I'm partnered with them, but because I really mean it. They really are helpful. I mean, I go. So anyway, whole lot of words to say is that no matter how you're struggling, how big or how small, they're wonderful people. And if you're not a Texas A&M student, then I really highly recommend looking at whatever mental health resources your university has to offer or what your local community has to offer, because this mental health care, especially as a college student, is really important. I mean, for our daily happiness and health, but also our mental health quality and how we take care of our mental health, I mean, directly translates to our GPAs and our degrees, which is why we're here and paying tuition and why we're attending these classes. It's really important. And the other thing I wanted to say is that I absolutely love hearing from you guys, whether that's emailing me or reaching out to me on social media. I love hearing from you, and my email and my link tree where you can access my social media and the different platforms where this podcast is hosted. That will be in my show notes or description, whichever one that is on whatever platform you're on. But anyway, I absolutely love hearing from you guys. And liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing with your friends, talking about the podcast. It really helps more students know that we exist, really, that this podcast exists. And if this podcast has helped you any or given any good advice, then I would really appreciate interacting with it, because that's how these platforms and systems recognize that, people might like this and let me suggest it to listeners who are browsing for podcasts, things like that. I don't actually know how these algorithms work, but I do know that interacting with the podcast does help get the word out there. And then, I think I forgot to mention this while I was talking earlier, but if you check my description / show notes, you can see the link for making appointments with University Health Services at Texas A&M. And there's a link for the University Health Services calendar. And they have so many cool events. I know sometime this week, I hope I haven't missed it, but they're bringing puppies to Evans Library. And it's that's so exciting. Puppies. I love fluff therapy. But they do things like that all the time and have many events throughout the week. And I highly recommend you visiting, because there's so many. There's an event for anyone's schedule. And then, last thing before we go and keep carrying on with our days, is that I believe in you. I really, truly do. I know finals can be a really stressful, hectic, blood, sweat, and tears, trial by fire sort of time. And it's rough. It has been really rough for me. I've gone through it too. But keeping all that in mind, I believe in you. You are a student at your university. You've gotten in, you've made it. You are absolutely capable of going through this tough time. And to use an Aggie slogan, beat the hell out of it. I absolutely believe in you guys to beat the hell out of your classes, your final exams, your projects. You just got this. So before we go, let's take a big deep breath in and a long, slow, deep breath out. And let's get on with our days. I truly believe in you. I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.